We rolling on both fronts?
Welcome.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Welcome to the...
Some nice intro music. I don't want to interrupt it. And... Whoa. That was surreal. I don't think we could do that again even if we wanted to.
I think we could.
Yeah, but I don't have enough time to practice that in front of the people here. Wait. One. No, do I have to count or not?
No, I knew where you were going.
Okay. Dude, this podcast is over. We can't even do it. We can't do it.
It's
All right. Rattlesnakes are invading the building at this point.
That's totally cool.
Okay, welcome to Next Stage Podcast, everybody. Welcome back if you've been here before. Good to know that you're there. We can't see you, and you can't see us unless you're watching. Or if you're listening, well, good to know you're there. Anyway, we've got two members of Soy Capybara in here. I don't know the history behind that name, but we'll get into that. So we've got Tyler and we've got Chris. So why don't you introduce yourselves? Maybe give your last name, unless you've got some kind of hit out on you and you don't want to give your last name. I won't force you to do that.
Social. Well, you know.
Feel free to use pseudonyms if that's required.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I am Chris Connor, the drummer, aficionado, loco, coco, noco.
He's a creative man. He goes. We let him go.
Okay. And you are?
I am Tyler. I am the lead guitarist and the only guitarist of the band.
Do you create things? Are you Tyler the creator?
No, not today. I do create things, but I am not Tyler the creator.
All right, there's already one of those. Mm-hmm. So, Soy Capybara. And I've seen you guys play in numerous configurations, sometimes at open mic, sometimes at shows. How did the band get started? Did you guys start together? Or was this like a project that you were already doing and Chris came in? How did the band start? I
had a few ideas going on that kind of sounded. I wanted some like pocket drums in there and kind of things that sound tight or whatever. And I asked Chris to come sit in. We're good friends, so I said, "Chris, come by one night," and we just started jamming on some stuff and sounded good. One of our good friends, Nicole, also a wonderful musician, invited us or asked Keith, our bassist, to come sit in, and he said, "You guys should hang out."
She also invited us to Art Jam.
Art Jam, that was yeah.
What's Art Jam?
It's a festival in Vermont.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Somebody recently sent me a message about that.
Yeah.
Chelsea, who she was on earlier, a previous episode, Chelch is what she prefers. I'm sorry.
Okay.
She sent me recently a little photo thing about that art jam in Vermont.
Yeah, it's a super cool thing up in Whittingham, Vermont that a few people are putting on. And it's a wonderful thing. It's very kind of grassroots.
Is it like a jam band thing, or like taking all comers, or is it like?
No, this is I think the third year that they're doing it, or the fourth year. I think third official year. But good local bands and stuff. Kind of really, friends of friends really and stuff. People. And it's building up and. It's getting to become something.
So was that
cool.
The first show you guys did? You got invited to?
That was the first.
Is that why the band came together?
Yeah, actually, that was.
And full disclosure, sure. I did type in Soy Capybara to Google, and I got these soy candles with a capybara featured on them that were like scented soy candles. I'm like, that's not the band. That's funny. It was funny, but maybe you want to go into some candles as swag.
We'll be like Kiss. We'll put our name on anything and everything that comes about. Mugs right here.
And it's funny, every time I hear the name, this is a little side story, but my daughter was making a fort one time out of a box, and she wrote, "Yes, please, capybaras" on it. I don't know why. Well, I laugh every time I hear that.
we're already in the energy field of the world, so that's why.
Yes.
That's actually the real.
So I gotta ask, where did the name come from?
Well, we didn't have a group. I was working with a group. We had split up, and I still wanted to play this gig with Nicole.
This Art Fest thing?
Yeah, she had asked us to play, and I really didn't have a band yet or anything. And she said, "Oh, what's the band name?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know." And I was looking at pictures of capybaras because I love capybaras. They're like my favorite animal. Sure, the boy.
Largest rodent.
I probably smoked a little bit. I was like, this is super cool. I was watching videos of them running around and stuff. They're very happy animals. They're they like to hang out with each other, and they're
Social creatures?
they're social creatures. So they're super cool. And I love guinea pigs too. So
Are they related, right?
in some way?
They kind of look like a giant guinea pig.
Right. So they look like humongous guinea pigs that are just
similar head shape, even. You know,
right?
Like they have that like
body shape,
blunt nose.
Right. So she said, "Well, what's your band name? We need to put you on the flyer, the gig bill." And I said, "Soy Capybara." And I just typed it in and sent it to her. And I was hoping everyone would be cool with it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it sticks out, and it's like these days there's been so many like cool band names that have been taken, you know, that it's like hard to find an original name, and it seems like the more unusual it is, the more it's gonna jump out.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the intention, but it is true. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to be creative these days, so I guess, you know, spontaneity is
Yeah, absolutely.
still fresh.
Well, you know, it's cutting through some of the clutter of when you hear like the whatever, the this, the that. There's so many the bands out there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like bands with the word black. It's like I want to make a metal band called Black Black.
Black.
Just on principle. So you had this gig opportunity, and that's why you brought Chris in, or like how did this form?
Yeah, I mean, well, Chris had been playing. We were in a band called Mango,
Okay.
Yeah.
and we were just kind of playing like funky kind of.
Do capybaras eat mangoes?
Probably.
If they don't, they should. They should. I mean, if you fed one to them, I think they're vegetarian diet. I don't think they eat.
I don't think they're carnivorous.
I don't think so.
Mangoes are citrusy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they're a citrus. I don't
Tastes
think
like pine a little bit. There's a little pine note in there.
It could be.
Mango?
Yeah.
It's
mango-
good sugars though.
It's been a long time since I've had a mango, to be honest. I've had like mango, a dried mango.
mangoes are great.
You eat them under pine trees?
Yeah, I do. In the pines, where the capybaras never shine. So, you guys had this. So you had this gig opportunity, and you decided, well, I got to put a band together. So it was sort of spawned out of that. Did you guys had played in
Well,
Mango?
that's when it became, tight. That's when we said, well, this is our, first gig as a new group. Let's try to get together and see what's going on. That was the beginning stages of things. That was last September. Mm-hmm. So a lot has, developed and changed since then. So.
And who else is involved in the band? Who are the other members?
Currently, right now, it's I'm on guitar and vocals. Chris is on drums. Keith McDade's playing bass, and we have a dude Ty who plays saxophone with us. And we're about to get a trumpet player from New Haven. He's going to come down and
Get a
start
little
working
horn
with
section
us.
in there.
Yeah, so we're going to start developing, all the tunes that we have, and continue writing more, and of course keep those covers coming in, for fun, just to keep it alive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, you got to play covers in the beginning to get people's, attention. It's like
People like
any
covers.
And it's a break for us too, because we're playing covers that we want to play,
Yeah.
not something that we think people will like them. We're not going to play "Angel of Death" by Slayer.
Why not?
Well, nothing wrong with that. I love Slayer. I saw them.
Get a really high like trumpet note.
Yeah, I saw them at Jones Beach last summer, and it was interesting.
Oh, there's no substitute.
They wouldn't allow liquor or beer. They wouldn't serve beer
Probably a good idea.
the actual zone of the venue. They're only outside.
They're zoned.
Yeah.
Zoned for liquor.
So that says something.
So how would you like describe your music? I know this is the worst question ever because it's like, nobody wants to be pigeonholed into a genre, and like most people get a genre slapped on them that they don't want. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to push into that, but like, what would you describe? Maybe if you said what influenced you, or what you're shooting for, or what turns you on, or like what you think your music is. I don't know how to phrase it right.
Well, as
but
far
like,
as what gets me feel nice is anything with a groove or anything that's got like a good wholesome kind of feeling, organic vibe. I gravitate towards a bit.
because I got a funk vibe, but I don't want to say funk
Definitely
because I don't.
funk.
It's definitely a little. Everything I think we
Little
do is a little
funky.
funky. You know what I mean? It's got that. It's kind of got that like.
Almost R&B as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely some R&B involved in there. Like some funky R&B. I guess you know.
So what got you guys into music? I'm gonna ask you first because I got with two people. I got to split up the question so you're not fighting over like sharks. Like, I want the question. I want the question. I want the question. So Tyler, what got you into music? When did you start playing?
I started playing probably around when I was probably like 13, 14. I picked up a guitar. I actually found a guitar in my friend's dumpster and picked it up and brought it home and tuned it up. And I was like, this is super cool. and my folks saw that I was taking a liking to,
Dumpster guitar.
They were like, "This is, he's liking the thing. He hasn't put it down since he found it in a dumpster."
Was it the smell? Don't lie.
No, it wasn't. It was freshly placed in the dumpster. My friends were moving, and it was just there. And I was like, "Can I take this?" And they were like, "Yeah, whatever, take." So that was my first feel on a guitar, and then
What was it? Acoustic, electric?
it was a nylon, like your basic low of the mill.
But it was an acoustic, like a classical
acoustic
style?
nylon classical, yeah.
The wide fretboard and all?
Wide fretboard and everything, and I kind of tuned it up and was playing around. I didn't know anything at that time. I still don't know anything, but had it sounded something that pleased my ears, and
Yeah.
and then from there, just
Why did you pick it up? I mean, had you been interested in the guitar beforehand?
Oh yeah, just like my folks always played music at the house, not physically, but through the stereo. There's always music playing, records and whatnot, and I was always curious about what was making those tunes and how those sounds were being created and what the techniques were, and a lot of it came to being just your hands, like not even the amps or whatever equipment they're using, but how the technique. And I was always curious of how people would do that, like.
What kind of music were they listening to that got you?
A lot of disco, like a lot of funk and,
Really?
and disco, yeah.
And that got you into guitar. Interesting.
Yeah, because all that, the really cool rhythm stuff in the background, because that was always
That waka waka.
yeah, that was always kind of like the standout in the back, like Heat Wave, great English band who actually wrote a lot of the horn parts for Michael Jackson. This guy Robert Temperton.
Really?
Yeah, amazing musician.
So that's where you got the groove. I've heard groove is in the heart. I don't know if that's true.
It might be. They say it's in the hands. It's in the heart.
Groove is in the hands.
Yeah.
Oh, Soy Capybara needs to write Groove is in the hands.
Well, that's the next tune. It's dropping soon.
All right, Groove is in the hands. So you were digging on that stuff, found a guitar, and just said, "This is for me."
Right. Yeah.
And then, did you ever take any kind of lessons at all, or
A few lessons here and there, but I've never been like a conventional sit down, and I've always been kind of do things on my own terms and at my own pace. And
did you listen and learn, listen to stuff and try to figure it out?
Yeah, I would hear something and I'd be like, all right, let me try to sit down and noodle with that.
It's hard, man. I still can't do that.
That always seems easier to me than looking at something, because I'll look at a tab online and I know the chord, and I'll read the tab online and I'll be like, that doesn't make sense to me, but I know the chord. So it's
so you're an ear. You got an ear for it.
I don't want to say, because some people have amazing ears, and I don't want to say that I haven't,
I'm not doing a competition here, but
right, no, but
you learn by ear. Yeah.
No, I that's how I kind of paw through everything, is by listening.
Oh, that's great, man.
Yeah.
And then I'll ask Chris the same question. Did you start with percussion, and what got you into playing music?
Yeah, I started playing drums in 8th grade, or I was 5th grade. I played snare drum in school, and then my grandma got me a drum set when I was 13. So I've been playing since. And
what gravitated you towards drums? Why did you decide that? Did someone give you a drum and you just started banging on it, or did you say, I want to play drums?
well, I wanted to play an instrument in Huckleberry, which was
Huckleberry Man.
Yeah,
Shout
elementary
out.
school.
Miss
What's that?
Fitzgerald. Shout out to Miss Fitzgerald.
Hopefully she's watching.
Yeah, so we'll
Yeah,
get her on.
but my parents didn't want me to play a horn instrument because I got bloody noses a lot.
Why was that? What?
No trombone for you.
Yeah. No,
Oh,
it's
is
just
that-
like the pressure in the nose.
Ah, okay.
So they didn't want me blowing an instrument.
So they picked the loudest instrument for you to play.
Well, I picked drums because I didn't need to do that. And then I kept playing drums, and it must have been in my life, my soul almost.
Yeah.
Because it's like a lifestyle.
It just resonated with you. Just felt like the
and
right.
So I feel like if I don't play drums, then I'm missing something.
Yeah.
So
Oh man, that's deep.
yeah.
Are you like spiritual with it, like Danny Carey? Do you get into the taking DMT and
I don't do that.
working out drum patterns?
That's a little intense.
Would you take DMT and drum? Can you?
I would, yeah. I
That's
would.
at a very low dosage, maybe, but
Not advisable.
You'd just be sitting there, kind of rocked. Yeah, no.
I mean, I've jammed on some crazy stuff.
So when you play drums, does it just take you somewhere else, and you just feel like this is where I'm supposed to be?
It's a good feeling for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the more I play, the more it feels more awesome.
Yeah.
So that's a great part of it, because you can never not get good at your instrument.
Right. any time spent is time like earned towards that.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it's a connection with whatever you're doing. You know.
the strive.
Yeah.
So it sounds like both of you come from a very like I don't want to say like spiritual place, but like the thing hit you in a way that said like this speaks to my soul. So that makes sense that you would play together. You know?
Yeah, no, Chris definitely locks it down back there when he needs to. So
Oh yeah.
it's a good connection.
And what music were you influenced by? Who were you listening to, or what were you listening to? What did you hear that made you want to do that, or did you want to play the drums and then get into music thereafter? I don't know.
Oh, I was influenced by my parents. They always played the good music, like Led Zeppelin, more rock stuff.
Well, I got a Zeppelin poster back there.
Yeah, classic. You can't go wrong there.
Yeah.
And then I did get into a lot of electronic stuff in high school and into weird different music, which spanned me out to a lot of cool types like Annie Ballas Now, which is a cool Afrobeat band.
Yeah,
Donnie actually had a chance to play with them.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
about
really
that.
top notch as far as
Oh, they're awesome.
live performance and musicianship. It's really something to see them live.
And they're like one of these kind of groove-oriented bands, would you say, or?
Well, if you're familiar with Fela,
Yeah.
okay, so it's
I mean, I'm gonna say that very like, yeah, he's my best friend.
no, but that's
It's a
appropriate
cool
response
type
for
of
Fela
music.
because he is that prolific.
That was a very like sort of seismic thing going on at the time. Didn't Ginger Baker play with him?
Yeah, Ginger Baker went down
Yeah.
there in like in the late
So
'70s.
that's part of like Salt, right? Wasn't that like a part of that?
Ginger Baker assaulted a few people. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, well that's
Oh, isn't there like a project called Salt? I don't know. It could be way off. It could be a different
don't know.
Afro.
it's possible. But I
Yeah.
know Ginger Baker did go down there and
Probably
bring
an independent
a
thing.
lot of expensive recording equipment that they didn't have access to, or stuff from England or whatever that would have been incredible money to ship down to Africa or whatever, and he got a lot of that stuff recorded. So if it wasn't for him, a lot of that stuff wouldn't be timeless.
So you kind of like captured that moment in time and was like a big part of doing that.
Yeah, and I think that's like some of the best things people can do if you have that capability, you have the money and the access to do that, to bring music to, or different kinds of music from different parts of the world who wouldn't necessarily have that ability.
Yeah.
To me or you sitting here in Connecticut, I think that's one of the coolest things people do.
What do you think helps music spread?
I mean, like just that is
Giving the access?
is just, I mean, spreading and bringing. What am I trying to say? Like,
Well, it's hard to. I'm sorry, I kind of asked you a loaded question because it's like, what helps it spread? It's like, well, there has to be some sort of interest, of course, but like, what do you think gets new music into people's hands?
Here's
Well,
what I'm
not hands, but minds, ears, whatever. Like, what
I was trying to
brings
say,
it out?
it's easy to spread music. It's easy to spread, anything. You could mass produce anything and put it everywhere, and then people will start to listen to it by just, oh, I've heard that song 1,000 times. I guess that's kind of catchy at this point.
Yeah.
It's different to
That's
bring,
an earworm that gets drilled into your head.
right, and it's like, oh, well, but to bring something that no one's ever heard from different influences to a whole different group of different people, I think that's where the influences start to come from, because that's where all the, these great artists who I listen to at least were influenced by this person or that person or this person, and it's all in the collective of, sound.
Yeah, when you dig deep, it's like you can like a band, think, oh, they were really great at that. And then you find out like where they came from. I'll use an example of like Sublime, like, oh, they're mixing punk and reggae. And then you find out, wait, the Police did that way earlier.
Right.
And then you find out in the 70s, punk and reggae were played in the same stations. Like, wait, Sublime was not innovative at all. I thought they were, having no knowledge in the 90s.
But again,
but...
that's comes back to sharing it, because they were big.
They were pretty
They were
original.
able to bring that to.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say they're original. That's what he was just saying. But a lot of music does that.
Well, they put
It all
their own
comes in
it.
circles, and they're like, and the right timing for
Definitely
the
their
right
own
people.
flavor, for
Yeah.
sure.
And
They updated it.
Not to take anything away from Sublime, because I love Sublime. I think they're a great band. I think they're the most overrated, underrated band, or most underrated, overrated band.
I know what you
all
mean.
time.
I feel like some people like them for the wrong reasons. I love them because there's something in his voice and his expression and his storytelling that makes me feel like I'm connected to his dirty street heroin life.
Right.
That's sick and disgusting. Like he probably was a bad person. I don't know.
Who knows?
But
It just
he
sound
brought
good,
me
though.
into
But
his world.
Well, it was raw.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you could hear in his voice, like, that wasn't, he didn't go to any vocal coaches. You know what I
No.
mean? He wasn't sitting there. They're like, well, you need to open up your throat. And then it was like, no, he just did whatever the fuck he wanted, and it sounded good, and it sold.
Yeah.
You know, people liked it. You know, a lot of shit sells that is shit, but you know, if it connects to people, it will sell. And I'm not to say, you know, what shouldn't connect with people, because that's all like personal and whatever.
Yeah, but it's hard to deny when there's an artist that connects for what seems to be like, well, what are they doing that differently other than whatever their being is that's now coming out? And I think he did that.
For
you
sure.
know? And I can see like why people get into the, if you only like What I Got, and it's like the frat rock thing, it has that sort of flavor that was trendy at a time. But I think there's a lot more deepness into that, where he's expressed a poet of a certain side of life. But I felt a poet.
Well, yeah. You can hear his angst in the music. I mean, that sounds kind of. But he was
True artist.
Yeah.
From the depths, and he had a lot of talent for sure.
Yeah, and it's just sort of. Do I have to do this too every time? That was well placed.
When Chris says something really deep, I just have to be like.
I should have let it reverberate for a little while. I was too quick to like jumping back. I'm the host. I'm gonna do this. I'm like, no.
It's all good.
It's all right.
It's
Let's
all
bring
good.
this guy over here.
You got the slinky guy.
So what was your guys' first gig like? Did you have like a first like show? Is there an earthquake happening? Oh, we better get out of here.
We're good. It was me. It was
You
me
causing
the whole time.
earthquakes?
Well,
I didn't know he had that kind of power.
Well.
I would have asked you to do something a lot cooler than an earthquake. So what was the first gig like? Did you guys do this art festival thing?
yeah, we went out there with a few originals that we were kind of. They were.
What was the band at that time? So it was you, Chris. Was the bass
It was
horns?
me, Chris. Yeah.
Which is a
It was
trio,
me, Chris,
I think.
and Keith played with us, which is the trio. Very like the beginning of the thing. We're
Keith's bass.
Yeah. Keith, yeah.
Very good
Suppose.
bass player.
What is that? What was that?
Yeah.
Is that
Keith
McDonald's
awesome.
thing?
Yeah, I'm
McDonald's
loving it.
We're not plugging. Are we plugging McDonald's right now?
Only if they pay us. And
Jeez.
chicken nuggets.
Yeah, chicken nuggets.
You had your
Pink
daily
slime.
chicken today.
Yeah.
So trio. That's how it started?
Yeah, so we had the trio, and it was kind of, we were just getting things together, and we were drinking all day. It was kind of like one of those gigs. We were just kind of, let's see how this goes. And,
Yeah.
Getting the
one of
songs together.
One of our friends, Keenan, who plays in a really cool band, Nikita. You guys should, bring them in.
Nikita.
Yeah, they're awesome.
We always want
yes.
recommendations
He
for
played
people
on,
to come on.
He played on one of my band's records, actually.
Oh yeah. He's fantastic.
He's
So
awesome.
he was hanging out all day, and we asked him, Keenan, you want to jump on our set? And he was like, yeah, of course. So he actually helped us out a little bit. He brought us up on one of the times where we kind of needed a little space to fill. So
Yeah.
that was super cool.
Did you guys have a lot of practices beforehand? Did you work out songs, or was it kind of like, this song, I know that song, let's just figure it out?
We had it's tough because I have all these originals that I have, and I would sit down with Chris, and Keith, nothing's written, so it's not like I hand sheet music to Keith and I'm like, here, do this. He comes up with all of his bass lines and everything, as he should, but it's I'll come up with the basic gist of it, and I'll kind of dictate how it sounds.
So you got the progression, you got the song structure. Here, guys, here's the chord changes. Let's jam it out. Is that how you approach it?
Well, it starts out with like the chords for me, and then I'll come up with like a melody in my head and like how I want the vocals to go, and then after that it kind of starts like writing itself. Then I find like the bridge or the chorus or whatever, and or like a breakdown or whatever. Then it all kind of comes together, and then I'll sit down with Chris and say, hey,
So you write on your own, then bring it.
right, yeah.
He'll show me the riff, and I'll come up with a beat, and then it'll show like maybe a chorus part. Do hit this here, hit this there.
But it's very cooperative. Like we'll sit down like after a part, and we're like, all right, well, that's not working because of this, or this is working because of this, or we try to just try things out until they
See where
sound
those
right.
like pinch points are, where something's not quite
Right,
there.
just work everything out the best we can, and try to make it smooth for the ears, so everything kind of like flows into one piece.
Because you guys both come from seems like a groove-oriented background where you want that thing to lay down.
Especially with this band, especially with this band for sure.
Type of feeling.
Well, that's an interesting point because, music, people talk about music, what makes it important, this and that. And in my mind, or in my experience, just what I like music that gives me a feeling more than like a auditory stimulation. What do you think about that?
I think, I agree with you. I mean, one of my favorite songwriters, Jeff Tweedy of Wilco, always talks about how he creates a feeling in like a time rather than like an auditory. It is auditory, but it really should move you to somewhere else, and that's all personal to somewhere else in your mind, or his mind's gonna be different. My mind, your mind's gonna be different. It's gonna be wherever it takes you, and I think that's the whole great thing about music is it's all up to your own perception.
Yeah, you're bringing your whole ghost train of life along with you to where you impact this song.
That moment
what
when
does
you
it
hit
mean?
that feeling, because yeah, exactly what you said. The whole line of life comes to that moment when all those emotions. It's that point.
So you guys tend to write, and you write the song and bring it to Chris first, or you bring it to, now I guess is it the full band first,
Well,
or how does it?
Chris lives closest to me, so
Okay.
So it could be like a random thing if I get out early, or if we have the same day off or something. I could say, hey, come by for an hour tonight, and we'll hang out and go over a few tunes just to kick things over. And it's never like real serious until we have the whole group there, and then it's like, okay, let's get to work.
So you guys do a lot of the legwork before it comes to the group. Like, how do you feel about when you get a song from him?
I just get the beat down, try to memorize it. I'll record it and play it to the recording, listen to it so I remember it. And
So you have like a little recorder like in the room, or do you like a computer or something? What do you guys?
yeah,
what do you
I have
use
a little
like
portable recorder that I bring.
just to capture like the moment, so you can have something to take
yeah,
home?
the speaker sucks, but the
Something
earphones.
to reference is always great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you can kind of digest it a little bit in your own time.
absolutely.
Practice it, have it in your head.
And then for you, lyrics, do they come after the song structure? Do you have like
Always.
thoughts?
Always, never
Yeah.
before. Like I like it's a different process. Like some people say that they always write the lyrics before, but I can't imagine that because I write the lyrics to the music.
Yeah.
So like as it's happening, it's kind of like in spaces and in like
It
yeah.
has to fit to the music that's there. So it's probably more the syllables and the cadence of the words that
Right.
fit, as opposed to like I'm
100%.
writing a story about this.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So that's the way it's been working for me since I started writing tunes. So
Right.
I figured keep it going.
Yeah, no, that's the best. I think the best way to do it. It should the lyrics should fit the music. And so, Chris, when you're playing to him, do you ever like think about the lyrics that are eventually there, or is it like the groove is there, like the lyrics are not really that?
It's mostly the groove, but I'm starting to try to listen to the lyrics and try to relate to maybe a certain lyric. Put a little hit in there when
Emphasize.
yeah, emphasize the lyric.
Because a lot of the time the lyrics do go with the beat.
Because you're writing in that way, so
Right,
he's
so-
got a little thing to feed off then.
And Keith's doing that too on the bass. He's wonderful with that, with getting right there with me on my vocals with certain things he does, and it sounds good. I'm happy.
So I always wonder from like a percussionist, do you consider yourself a percussionist or drummer? Because some people have a delineation, like I'm not a drummer, I'm a percussionist. Is it?
Drum kit, yeah, drummer, but if you use percussion with it, you can be percussionist. I think it's acceptable.
So from that role in the band, do the lyrics matter a lot to you? Or do they not? This is a kind of a loaded question because it's kind of comment on his stuff. Not really commenting on his lyrics, whether they're good. I just mean like when you are playing, do you...
As
do
a
the
drummer
lyrics-
or for the band?
Ooh, you shot it right back to me.
I was
You're
just trying to clarify
that.
the question. Just clarifying a little.
In this band, does what you do get influenced by the lyrics once they're there? Or is it more like the groove is there and wherever his lyrics, he can interchange them?
It's mostly the groove because I've always like with rap music, I used to only be able to understand the beat because I couldn't understand the lyrics. I couldn't keep up as much. So the beat always moved me more, and I'll listen to the groove, of course, and feed off that whatever feel it has, and I'll adjust the drum beat to that dynamic wise and also technical.
But you hear
wise.
things you could key off of at some points that you could say, I'll do a little like accentuation on
For
this
sure.
part, a few hits here.
Like I feel like some of the the deliveries of some things I'll do on the choruses or something. He'll be
You have
there.
to introduce a certain transition or something.
Are they like ever triggers for like when a certain point's coming in the song? It's like when I say this word, this is gonna happen.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
like I'll look at Chris and I'll be like, hey,
Yeah.
like this is getting close to this time or
The
whatever.
death stare.
Well, we're trying
So
to
you better not mess this up, Stare.
yeah, well, we're
Sorry, we try to
we're-
curse on this because we don't want people to.
we're trying
turn
to
it
get
off.
we're getting better with that, Chris. I think you've been putting more work in. To be honest, to be frank, I think you've been putting more work in, and it shows. So.
Oh yeah.
I think you both have some valid points here, and if we can just work towards the happen now.
Hold my hand, Chris. Hold my hand.
And let's do it.
We'll work it out together.
At that point, we've got that on camera. There's an agreement that you are going to both work together.
We
better.
always work together. We've
Been
been
gone.
working.
Yeah, it was. The voodoo gods are going to come and get you if no one else does.
That's not good.
Or the pod gods. The pod
Sounds
gods.
good.
Someone named Voodoo
Pod
Gods.
gods. That'd be a funny band name. We are the pod gods. I don't know what kind of music we play.
Where I work at right now, it's an old country club, but there's a wall there that this guy Lowell Thomas, who's one of the oldest broadcasters in America, actually, you might be interested in that. It's kind of cool.
Really? What do you mean a wall he built? Like a stone wall he built?
Yeah,
like something with like names on? Like the...
Well, he used to travel all over the world. This guy's wild. He's like an entrepreneur. He's like this like flashy guy from the 30s. He was just this very just.
He's still alive?
No, he's not.
Okay.
He's
I don't know what we're talking
pretty
about.
sure he's very much gone. But his
Mostly gone.
But his vibe is still there. It was insane. And there's pictures of him with holding the Dalai Lama's children in like the 30s and the 40s.
Whoa.
So
In front of this wall where you work?
So there's this wall of all of these monuments. He calls it the monument or the wall of monumental civilization monuments or something like that. It's all of these Easter Island. There's like dinosaur bones. There's stuff from the Crusades. There's
So some kind of like historical collage in a wall form?
and he's gotten all these gifted to him by the people because he was like a.
What are they, like tiles or like actual physical like statues?
They're things cemented into black tiles that are all put in a wall.
That's awesome.
Where is this place? I want to go visit it.
It's in Poland. We're actually gonna play
Do
there.
people like pray there?
Really?
In
They
front of the
should.
wall?
They should, but that's.
Are you gonna play in front of the wall?
We should.
We have to film that.
Yeah.
I was
We
saying,
have to film you playing in front of this magical wall.
Yeah.
I don't need any voodoo
That'd be
curses
epic.
because I'm already there in front of this wall with thousands.
That will actually resolve you from the curse that you had just incurred.
Maybe, hopefully, it's either helping me or hurting me at this
Well, I
point.
think it'll help
I'm
you.
not sure.
As long as the
Hopefully it's
groove's in the
open.
heart, you're good.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
It's all on you, Chris.
Yeah.
Now that you know what the deal is, you better not bring the voodoo god's curse upon the rest of the band.
Oh yeah.
How do you feel about that?
It's a little bit of pressure, but
Yeah.
you know,
It's
it's
all right.
good. It's
You'll,
good
you'll adapt to it.
practice.
You got a strong spine, I can tell.
Yeah. Just
You're
keep
used
it,
to
keep it straight.
You got an egg in your pocket.
Yeah.
You can just jump around in time. That's all you need. You just
go.
gotta offset it from when your feet hit the ground. The egg will shake. Just keep that in mind. Depends what kind of linen your shirt's made out of too. It's
good to
how much
shake.
the fabric's gonna
Feels
stretch.
cheap.
Him or the shirt? Now,
Wow.
just be clear here. This is a safe zone. We can say these things.
Striped.
Strike. Oh, man's way out of left field. I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's all right. Here, play with this.
Cause another earthquake.
Okay.
So, aside from playing in front of the wall, what's going on with Soy Capybara? What is the vision? I need to know who's got the vision.
We
in this
are
band.
looking to start playing in the city, start playing in Boston. I have some good friends in Brooklyn, Boston, and Philly. And we're just kind of waiting for the good lineup where we're all kind of solid and comfortable with each other, where we don't have to, or mostly me, going crazy thinking about all the rehearsals and the times and everything. So I think right now we have a decent lineup and we can start moving forward and start booking some gigs and start getting our music out there.
Do you guys have like bands that you know that you're interested in like hooking up with, or you're gonna kind of like how do you go about doing something like that? Like saying you want to book in the city. Like what do you do?
I have a few good friends over this girl, Kristen and Kirsten. Actually, they're up in Queens and they're one's in Brooklyn, but they're doing their thing and they have a lot of connections. So they said anytime you guys are ready.
So you know people in the area who would come out to see a show.
We played an open mic up at the U-Cut, which is a really cool place in Astoria. They have an open mic.
There. Damn it.
You're in Astoria, you were there?
I was there yesterday.
Okay, yeah. Open mic every Sunday night called Show and Tell, and it's awesome. I got
so
invited
chill.
there to play.
So what do you do at an open mic? Do you come and play too? Do you do like a little cajon or something?
No,
or?
this time we brought the whole kit.
Yeah,
Oh, they allow you to do that. That's
Well,
pretty.
I don't know if
that's the best.
I don't know if we didn't ask if we could bring the kit. We were late because we got.
Don't steal my egg.
Oh yeah.
Don't
You
steal
can
it.
keep it for now.
I mean,
keep it for the
it's
cast.
shake, so I
Keep
won't
it for the
forget.
cast, but I'll know. You're walking out shaking. I'm like, hey man, something you want to give me back? Like, no.
Like, wait, the egg's not in his pocket anymore, but it's still shaking. What's going on?
You got a funny heart. Anyway, so this open mic, like you were able to bring a full kit too.
Well, yes, we brought the full kit.
Oh, yeah.
We were late because of
Always
traffic,
try.
and we stressing out, and we got there, and it was really nice because everyone there it's like full attention, like everyone's dead silent. So when we were playing, it was just the silence in our tunes, like the breaks, the pauses were just popping,
awesome.
and we could just hear people like breathing. Literally, it was
tell people are listening too.
yeah, and everyone. I think everything was grooving. Everyone was digging it.
So that was your way to sort of like test out the waters to see if you want to go there and play a show there?
Right. Well, they invited us to go and wanted to see how it went just with the trio, and if we could bring it with the trio, then with the horns and everything else, it's just gonna be.
It's only gonna be an upgraded package.
Right. That's how I'm feeling. So.
And in terms of like, what you want your music to do, this is a weird question, but like, what do you hope it does to the people who hear?
I just want people to move.
Yeah. Dance.
To dance.
To just
That's the
dance.
best.
Just to move or
When
dance.
you see people dancing
or
at
to
a show,
feel it.
and it's fun because we vibe off that too.
100%.
And they're like having a good time, and it all brings everything good.
So as the percussionist, drummer, whatever you want to call yourself, when you see somebody dancing, moving, like, does that make you want to? What does that make you want to do?
Just keep the groove going.
Yeah.
Keep them dancing, and then it's all a good time.
Makes you
That's
want
the
to like tighten up and lay in, like, I'll make you dance hard. Is it just like?
Yeah, it does bring the energy up. So you bring in like some good fills, bring up the energy, maybe play a little louder, but it's fun.
Because that's a dynamic I don't think a lot of people say. You go to see music, but you don't play music. It's hard to understand maybe at times that what the audience does really affects the people on stage who are playing. And I don't know if that's obvious, but in my mind it should be, because it's like, well, I know from the other side when you're playing and someone's involved, it makes you feel better. But like when someone's reacting to your music, it really does change how you play.
Absolutely. Even if there's one person in the audience who's feeling it, like my night's made.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good.
And I have a point to bring up about that. Like, what do you guys think? And I'll Tyler first or Chris first. Who wants to go first? You guys got to flip a coin. Do we have a coin? Oh, we have a coin. All right, flip a coin. Who's going to answer the question first?
Well, the way we just slap each other really hard in the face.
Whoever gives up first?
The first one to pass out or bleed.
We don't have time for that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
But you can. I mean, you can do it like maybe in your spare time. But flip a coin, and who's going to call heads? Who's going to call whatever the other tails? I don't know what coin it is. Who's gonna? You got to call it in the air.
I still prefer to smack Chris in the face.
You can do that after the fact.
All right,
Heads.
I'll take it.
Heads. Okay. So here's the question.
Did he even call it before he flipped it? He said, "I'll take it." You flipped it, landed on heads, and he said it's heads. He said, "I'll
All right,
take it."
Foul on the play. Redo. We need
No, it's
another
fine.
flip.
Don't let him go. I'll be a gentleman. Go ahead.
Are
Chris.
you sure? Because you got a chance here.
No, it's totally fine. Trust
You don't want to
me.
review the
You
tape?
got the last question.
No, you got it.
Okay.
Chris.
All right, Chris. So, knowing that when you see somebody reacting to the music while you're playing makes you want to play differently, what do you think that means in terms of when music cannot respond to the audience, as in pre-recorded DJ, this, that, and the other, where the musician cannot respond to the audience? What do you think that means?
Maybe it's not a connection with the audience, so they're not vibing with it. They should try to, give you a smile, but if it's not vibing, then you keep playing anyway.
And I'm giving a roundabout question, but I guess I meant like when you are playing an instrument and you have a chance to respond to the audience, do you think there's more value in there than when the thing's just played and no matter what the audience is doing, it's still the same?
I think it has more.
Oh,
to do
he's
with,
taking over.
I'm taking
He
over.
said flag on the play.
I think it has more to do
Chime.
more to do with energy that you're giving off in the room. If I'm playing something and he's physically banging on that drum is giving off the energy that he just put into his foot into that drum, and it's resonating throughout the room. Same thing with.
So it's a give and take reaction.
Right. That all that is pushing out. Like air is being
We're gonna
pushed.
vibe to it either way. They might have a good taste, not have a good taste, but it's their problem.
Do you think there's something lost when the music just stays? If someone's a DJ, let's just say, and they just hit their song and it plays, and no matter what the audience does, the music doesn't change. Do you think something's lost there?
I don't think something's lost because if a song moves someone, it moves someone.
Yeah.
If the feeling's there, the feeling's there.
You also don't
Because a
know.
great DJ can move a crowd just as good as a band.
Okay.
By playing those right selections, by playing
There's a lot of
by-
energy that goes
by-
into pre-production of that stuff.
by keeping
too,
it live.
you know?
Yeah.
Like when a DJ plays, they'll be, they wrote that song, they aligned that song before.
So
they
they're
played
feeling
it.
it. So
Yeah,
So they
energy behind
felt
it.
that energy,
It's the energy you put into the music is usually reverberated to the audience, and they feel that, and it's all connected.
But I think you can't beat 5 people on stage physically playing their instruments out to the people, because everyone's on their own thing and everyone's doing their own thing, rather opposed to just someone playing a song that they produced in their house. There's nothing wrong with that, because that's awesome. But
Yeah, it's all different flavors, I guess I just sometimes like to play devil's advocate of like wonder about, is there a value to a live band?
well, there's a guy named Daedalus who's a DJ, and he's insane. He has these things called one of the mononome, the instrument
mononome.
he created, or whatever.
Just one gnome?
It's a bunch of buttons on this.
Yeah, it's like a
rectangle.
controller. It's like
I think I've seen those
square,
things.
and it's got all these buttons and rows and columns. And I don't even know how it works, but everything's live, and every set is different.
He's awesome.
So I've seen him. I've had the pleasure of seeing him live, and that was incredible.
That music cannot vibe sometimes with people, and
That's all personal again, and so it's whatever. If something resonates with you, it resonates with you, and you can't take it away.
Right.
Like what Speechless by Lady Gaga. That song, I love that song. People are like, you listen to it. I'm like, yeah, I love Lady Gaga. That's great.
I love Better Now by Post Malone. One of my favorite songs. This is a perfectly written song.
There you go.
I absolutely love that
If
song.
a song is good, it's good.
But I think he's a really good musician. Because I've seen some old videos where he's playing Bob Dylan songs, like acoustic, and he's like one of these secret, actually a true good musician who just.
I think he's got some soul to him,
Yeah, there's.
sure.
I don't listen to him too much, but I think that means
That must mean something.
that means a lot these days.
He's always tired, right?
It either means you went to jail, or you're
Committed
or
to that.
you have a career that you can tattoo your whole body and hands and not get
Yeah.
any kind of heat.
So what kind of bands are you guys digging these days? I'll ask you, Tyler, first, because I'm doing this to confuse you. So Tyler first, and then Chris will be next, so you can think about it while he's asking. What kind of bands are you digging? New bands that's saying maybe they came out in the last 5 years. I don't want to hear about, I like Led Zeppelin and the Beatles, and I like everybody that everybody else already likes.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't like the Beatles, so there.
well, damn. All right, that's okay.
Always a hard take.
Always a sore spot. I just figured I'd get out in the open, just admit my faults.
John Lennon was
Right
kind
at
of
the
a piece
front.
of shit, so it's
Yeah, why do you think he got shot? It's fucking phony.
Jeez,
Anyway.
that's kind of hard. But
No, that
he
was
was a
very
piece
hard.
of
Show was
shit.
terrible.
If you listen to his son talking about him, it's sad.
Yeah, he said his son came out of a bottle of whiskey on a Saturday night.
Did he really? That's awful. Well, I mean, that's kind of how things happen, I guess. Poor
Anyway,
Julian.
so what bands are you digging these days?
Well, Hiatus Coyote I've been listening to for like 4 years now. They're always awesome. Napalm.
Hiatus Coyote?
Yeah.
Like not there?
Awesome.
Yeah, not there. No, but they're very much there.
True men don't kill coyotes, according to the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Well, according to Anthony Kiedis, who knows?
Yeah. I've heard him called the Buddhist in the frat house, which is awesome.
I'm sure he's been called a lot of things. The man
And
is,
Swan the Swan.
the man has done a lot.
So you did
That documentary is really cool though. The one where they're recording
Oh,
Sex
Funky
Blood.
Monks?
No, Sex Blood Magic.
Isn't that Funky Monks? Where
Is
they're-
it? Is it?
Funky
Okay,
Monks,
that's it. Yeah, that's
when they were recording Blood Sugar Sex Magic.
yeah, super cool. That's a trip. Just to,
yeah.
I look at him now, and he's still cool, but it's like, damn, man.
So Hiatus Coyote is one that you dig
Highest
now?
Cody, Moonchild, I like a lot. They're super cool.
What's Moonchild like?
They're kind of like Highest Cody, kind of like the R&B vibe. I mean,
Okay.
I love Erykah Badu. Like I always was like the three CDs have been in my car for like the past year is Napalm's Needle Paw, Marvin Gaye, What's Going On, Alicia Keys, her one with all the good hits on there, and Zappa. I forgot the one. But,
Oh man,
yeah,
you've got no
Zappa.
variety whatsoever
Yeah, no.
in any of your musical tastes. That's
Frank
just
Zappa, Alicia Keys, nice.
that's amazing. So all those things must bounce around in your brain. That obviously must influence what you produce. Must
Yeah,
influence
100%.
what comes out.
I listen to a lot of different stuff, and
Do you think that's important to
not
have
by
variety?
force either. Oh, 100%. But I think if
Yeah.
you're forcing yourself to listen to stuff you don't necessarily, I think that's you don't need to force anything. Just listen to stuff you like, and then you'll be.
But do you think there's a value in listening to things that you don't like to figure out why? I do, but I'll ask you.
Yeah. definitely.
If I don't like it, I don't like it. I don't want to listen to it. You know, like I could. Yeah, that's it.
Well, we'll go over to Chris. So who are you digging? You can answer the do you think there's a value in listening to things you don't want to listen to first. Then we'll go into who you dig now.
Well, yeah, things you don't listen to, it adds more variety to your musical knowledge.
So if you don't like something, would you listen to it just to figure out why you don't like it?
No. Usually other people will play it and I'll listen
You're
to
forced to listen to it.
Yeah.
You're an unwilling participant.
Something growing on you is different from something that you just automatically like. I would never listen to that. Like I have friends who sometimes they put on like some newer rap, and I'm just like I can't get into that.
SoundCloud rap I wasn't into, and then now I'll listen to it.
I think there was a little value, something in what Little Peep's doing for whatever reason. I'm like, I don't love this, but there's some authenticity that's being displayed there that like
On SoundCloud rap?
Little Peep, you ever heard of him?
Lil Peep?
Yeah, he was one of those SoundCloud rappers, right? I think so.
Yeah, probably.
No, I don't. I'm
Catchy
not
music.
familiar.
But anyway, so like, who do you dig now? What are bands that you listen to? Who do you like to listen to?
I've been getting into the Afrobeat a lot, like still Annibalas, but then also in the jazz game, like Robert Glasper's killing it, and Chris Dave, his drummer, has another band out called Chris Dave and the Drumheads or something, which is really cool music. And then like I saw this NPR thing with Anderson .Paak where he was playing drums.
Yeah, he's killing it. He's been killing it.
Yeah, he's big now.
That was that Malibu record he released. That's cool.
I don't know. He just came out with something, and also Jazzanova is like this acid jazz type thing, which I've also been into. So I'm trying to get more into live music because I've been playing drums more and listening to the drums instead of that electronic shit I was in. But
what do you guys think the value of live music compared to recorded music? You can fight or slap each other to see who goes first. I don't know how you want to resolve this. I'm just asking questions. I'm not deciding.
Back to the whole energy thing. You know, live people on stage creating music together as a co-op is moving.
Yeah.
You know, or it could be tragic, but most of the time it's moving. You know.
So you think there's a value to having physical human beings there?
Absolutely. Everyone's putting their energy into it.
The skills you learn in the studio are huge. Like everything's got to be on point. That's big. And
the studio is a whole different beast.
I mean, as a musician,
It helps the product for the live.
It does.
Oh yeah,
it helps.
for sure.
It does.
Do you think people value one or the other these days? Where do you think the market is? Do you think people want to hear live music or do they want to hear studio music?
Well, it depends on the band. Depends if a band can't reproduce their album live 100% the way it was recorded, then I don't think it's worth it.
Really?
Well, like that's why the Beatles didn't go on tour with Sgt. Pepper's because there's no way they could recreate all the mellotrons and all those awesome sounds that they were doing and the panning and because they couldn't live up to that record live, which is fine.
Does that mean that they're a good band though? If you can't do what you're pretending to do?
Sure, because all those songs at the root of them were good, and I think everything
good songwriters, but is that a good band? I think a good band should be able to do what they say they do on the record.
That's like a raw sense of what a live band does.
Yeah.
But then it's a whole different thing. The live band to studio band
it's adapting the feeling from a different way.
And some bands can't do that at all.
Feeling.
Right.
So
some songs are better listened to on headphones than in live.
We haven't released anything yet as Soy, so I think every time someone comes to see us play, they don't have any expectation. They don't have anything to look at yet. So they come to see us play and they're like, well, we have, we put a demo out, but we didn't release it because that was more for me to hear it and be like, okay.
Get the mellotrons.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, get the mellotrons in there. Mellotrons are super cool.
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys have plans to do any kind of records anytime soon? Like, do singles? I think nowadays people do singles, release them one at a time. Like, what do you think you want to do?
Well, we want to do an EP. I think I want to do an EP.
What's an EP? Is it 3, 5? What do you think?
It's up for, people will argue that, but about 5 songs.
Yeah.
What they say under 25 minutes or something like that.
So you think you've got like 4 or 5 solid songs out of the how many guys do you have as originals now?
Originals, we have about 10 originals that we're kind of cycling in and out.
That's solid, so you can cut it in half and still have a solid EP.
Right. So we're gonna take what I think is the best from those, and I think, do you guys agree when the songs I'm choosing?
Yeah.
any direct plans for recording in the near future? Or this is kind of you're kind of at the tail end of like figuring out what songs you want to use.
We're searching for an engineer in a studio right now. So
Okay.
We're a little shopping around, talking to people. We had just met someone the other night who said they'd heard us. We played at O'Brien's last weekend, and someone approached us and said, "We'd love to work with you, record you."
Awesome.
So that's always fun.
That's a good feeling. Someone saying, "I want to
yeah.
record what you're doing." That's like good.
So
We're
we'd like to
doing
work with him. We're in talking right now, and I have this guy up in Milford, Jacob. He's awesome engineer.
So a few opportunities for Soy Capybara in the future of recording an EP.
Yep.
And what would you want that EP to do? Do you want it to get you gigs? You want it to get an audience to come and see you play?
Again, it really just comes to people moving. Like I want people to feel. I want people to listen to it,
Dig
and,
the music,
and feel it, and be like, "Oh, this is cool."
Put it on your
and
iTunes.
yeah, play it in their car. Play it, on their boat this summer. Play it when they're running. Do whatever. Play it when they're making
Connect.
love. Do whatever they got.
Making love. I'm making
love.
whoopee.
Well, I could have said do like
They're
fucking, but I was
knocking boots.
Right. Yeah, I just wanted to move. I want people to feel good when they hear it, and be like that.
Yeah.
That's something cool.
So you wanted to translate that like good vibe to people. That's awesome. That's probably the most like holistic reason to get into music I can think of.
Yeah,
So you want to make people feel good.
That's what this band is really all about. Honestly, that sounds kind of like cliche, but that's what the root of it was. I was playing in like some like heavier bands and stuff, and no one was moving. They were just kind of like sitting there and like looking at us like, oh, okay. And I would really want to do something where people would really react, other than to be like just shaking their head like, damn, that's cool. I want people to be like moving or actively dancing, or like someone come running in from smoking a cigarette because they heard a jam that they want to hear. Or something. I think that's really cool.
Well, in that sense, it's a form of magic, I think.
Well, they say you got to look up the definition of magician. Because I think it's something.
He's giving my producer directions already. You want to run this podcast? No, that's good. No, you're right. He should be on that. But you're right.
It's something to do with if you using an instrument to manipulate feelings and emotions or something like that. You can look up the. But really, I think it is true. When you play a guitar, you can make.
One who performs tricks of illusion and sleight of hand.
There's one.
There's probably a further down definition
with an instrument. That's what I would like.
I agree with you completely, because I think it's one of the most powerful forms of magic we have left, where there can be a few individual human beings. So you see, like, oh, there's a drum set, oh, there's this guitar. Some people know what a bass is, some people know what a guitar is, some people don't know the difference. Whatever. The audience is sitting there. There's these static instruments, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, how many people walk on stage and suddenly make music? It's like, that's magic. And if they all did this and put their hands down, it would stop.
Right.
And then it's like, boop. But
that energy is all of a sudden gone.
Yeah.
It ceases to exist once the music starts.
And then suddenly the people who are there are doing something that they wouldn't normally do. Yeah. Whatever that is, they're doing something different. So you're like magically with an invisible force
controlling them.
Those funny movements we make as humans when we get
they're awesome.
Inspired by sound.
There's no wrong way to dance, I believe that. If you're moving your body, no matter how offbeat or ridiculous you look, do it to your heart's content, because it's amazing.
Yeah, and we encourage people to do that. So
you want to get people to move.
Yes, I want people to move. I want people to feel good. I want people to drink and be merry and have fun.
This has been like an awesome learning experience to like know where you guys come from, to know what it's all about in terms of what you're trying to do with the band. It's been really impressive to hear how much you're concerned about like affecting people and getting the audience involved. Like that is so beautiful to know that there's bands who still want to do that. Because maybe I get depressed, but I think it's a lost art in ways where I don't feel a lot of that coming from popular music. I don't feel like they care. But it seems like you guys.
I think it's because the people who are paying the people don't care. So they're it's a shame that it is a lost art. The people aren't. It's more of a moneymaker than it is a like an art form or feeling. That's why people have such a hard problem paying people for live music. Oh, come in for a night and we'll see how it goes and test the water, and then if it works out, we'll hire you the next gig. It's like, no, man, pay us what we worked for and what we all kind of put our time doing. It's all a personal thing, and I think all the musicians should be compensated for our time. And
absolutely. You don't see all the background of how much time it takes to get there.
Right. Yeah. And I think
So I'll ask you each this question: what do you think music should do for the community?
Should bring people together. It should make them feel good.
Ring the bell.
That was a week.
There we go.
Yeah.
Bring the people together.
Bring people together, and we can all have a good time together and dance and celebrate and just have a a good time.
What do you think music should do for the community?
I agree. I think the same people.
Same thing. Copycat.
It should. Well,
You're cheating off his paper.
well,
He just said it.
We are in the same band. You know,
It could also help people through their life with maybe a situation.
It's true.
Yeah.
If someone comes out to see the band, they're having a good night and something. They're like, wow, I got to see so and so tonight, and I got to go out tonight on a long week at work. It's like every time we have a gig, it's people. It's an excuse for people to go out and party. And have fun and go out and relax yourself and say, oh, we're going to see Soy tonight, or we're going to see Nikita tonight, or we're going to see whatever the band is. It's always it's a nice excuse for people to get out and socialize and have a good time. And we always try to promote those good vibes and those
That's the
good times.
best reason to do music.
Yeah.
So we're gonna wrap this up. Do you guys have any last words? Anything you want to say to people who might be interested in playing music? Anybody who's going out to see music? What do you want to leave people with to say? Like,
Well,
here's why you should value it. Here's why you should interact with it.
If you're playing music, keep at it, because you can only get better. And the more people you reach with it, the better. The more people you influence, the better. Chris?
Yeah, Chris.
Yeah, I
Chris,
think
come on, Chris.
Anybody who's playing music or learning an instrument should play with other people, because that's huge. Also try to play out, because that is huge and a great experience to get better. Like, I'll play out and the next day I'll feel 10 times better.
Yeah.
So, and also like try to play every day, because that's huge. And
Yeah, the time you put in is only gonna maximize your output thereafter.
yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for coming on. This has been an awesome experience.
Thank you
And please,
for inviting us.
Please, we want to have you on again. We want to do something where we can get some live performance.
Absolutely, we love that.
You guys are coming from the right place. I really feel like you're doing good work for the local community, the local music thing, and your hearts are in the right place, and you're killing it. I don't know. It's been an awesome experience to learn where that comes from.
Well, we hope everyone watching comes and checks us out when we have some.
Oh,
gigs.
anything to plug? Do you have any websites, things you want to direct people to? Any music, anything?
We have an Insta. It's at Soy Cap Music.
Soy Cap Music.
Soy
Insta.
Cap Music.
Okay.
On Insta.
Yeah.
And then the EP will be forthcoming.
Yeah,
so how about this? When you guys record the EP, let's do another one of these little things.
Absolutely.
Maybe get more of the people involved and get a little round table event.
We can get everyone in
going
here.
on.
And,
That would be sweet.
Yeah, we'd love to do that.
It'll be a good time, man.
Check in on the progress. So thank you guys so much for coming to Next Stage Podcast. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you.
I feel like I've learned a lot. Does my soul good to hear about people who are truly in it for the right reasons. And to all the listeners, thank you for listening. We love you all. Next Stage.
Yeah.
Thank you.
His timing is impeccable. Impeccable as a capybara. But they have no beaks to peck.
That's that big old teeth.
You can't get away.